And now for our next news special report.
Welcome to tonight's special report. We're peeling back the layers of a story that's more than just a tale of bizarre behavior in the skies. It's a story that weaves together the unexpected antics of a presidential hopeful and a grim economic forecast for our nation. Imagine a presidential candidate, RFK Jr., walking barefoot in first class, an image that's now circulating the internet like wildfire. But this isn't just about unusual airplane etiquette. It's about the underlying currents that drive our national conversation. And in the backdrop, a looming economic shadow as Moody's downgrades the U.S. credit outlook. These events might seem disconnected at first glance, but they paint a picture of the current state of our republic. So stay tuned as we unravel these events and their significance. You don't want to miss the final thought. It's a perspective that every American needs to hear. Now, before we dive deeper, a quick note. Our commitment to bringing you top-tier news is made possible by our valued sponsors. So think of them as a nod of appreciation for our efforts, and their products aren't just endorsements, they're a crucial part of what keeps this show running. Speaking of running smoothly, let's talk about something that affects many of us: managing excess belly fat. You've seen me. I've lost like 80 pounds since last August, and it has been a game-changing experience for me. Now, belly fat's a danger to our health, much like unchecked spending is to our economy. That's why myself and many others are turning to a breakthrough solution that aids in reducing fat storage, boosting metabolism, and supporting weight management. And here's a deal exclusively for you. 51% off for a limited time at trimwithgary.com. Get yours and support our mission to deliver quality stories. Now, tonight we're tackling a story that's a mix of the seemingly trivial and the deeply significant. We start with an incident aboard an American Airlines flight involving RFK Jr., a moment that some are calling a mountain out of a molehill. Now, RFK Jr., a name that resonates in political circles, was seen walking barefoot, you can see right here in the first class, in a flight from Portland to Dallas. Now let's put this into perspective. Walking barefoot on a plane, while unconventional, is hardly a matter of national concern. It's a personal choice, one that many find odd, but ultimately it's a non-issue in the grand scheme of things. Heartland Institute commentator Justin Haskins, who happened to be on the same flight, made a big deal out of it, but really, isn't this just a case of blowing things out of proportion? Of course, we have bigger fish to fry. Let's take a look at how he broke down the moment.
Both flying down, to Dallas. I'm taking my, my coach seat from the Chicagoland area. You're in first class coming from the West Coast, because you're a rich guy that flies all the time. So,
right.
So you're always surrounded by, the elite and, important people that are getting to first class. So take it away, Justin. What happens on your plane that makes it a little more unique than your average flight?
Yeah, so specifically, I was flying from communist Portland, Oregon, which is part of why this probably happened. So I'm flying from communist Portland, Oregon. I'm on the plane waiting in my first class seat, and the two seats in front of me are wide open. And on the plane, comes walking down the aisle a guy who looks very much like RFK Jr. Okay, and he's with someone who appears to be maybe like a campaign staffer or something like that. And they, of course, because this is the way my life works, he sits immediately in front of me. So this guy is immediately sitting in front of me, and his staffer is sitting to the right of him, right? So I'm not sure if this is him. I think it's him. It looks like him, but I mean, what are the odds, right? And then as people are coming down the aisle, some people are stopping and asking for this guy to take selfies with him. So clearly it's got to be him, right? It's got to be him. He's also doing this weird thing where he's like shaking his head all the time, which is something that he does for some reason. And so RFK Jr. is in front of me. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, what do I do here, right? This guy's taking selfies. It would be pretty hilarious if I got like a selfie with RFK Jr., right? I'm going on Glenn Beck's show the next morning, so I'm thinking this could be like a funny thing to do. So as I'm figuring out what I'm going to say, we're on the plane is now, we're up in the air, but we just got off in the air. As I'm thinking about what to say, I'm listening to Glenn Beck's show on my phone, right? And I've got a headset in, a Bluetooth headset. And as I'm figuring out a way to approach him, because it's like, what do I lead off with? I work for the Heartland Institute. I don't know if that's a very good way of leading off a conversation with RFK Jr., right? I don't know what to say. As I'm listening to Glenn's show, the headset cuts out and the audio starts playing on my phone on this quiet plane, super loud, right in the back of this guy's head. And Glenn is right smack dab in the middle of talking about how we need to send the left back from where they came, back to hell. Okay, those words come out of Glenn Beck's mouth in the back of RFK's head, and I'm thinking, oh my God, like that's, so the staffer turns around and looks at me all weird, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's the end of that. Like, I can't introduce myself to this guy, right? So I think this story is like really funny, right? I thought, I'm going to tell this story to Glenn on this could be a really funny story to tell Glenn on the radio, how he ruined my opportunity with his incendiary language to talk to a presidential candidate, right? Mm-hmm. So as I'm trying to figure that out, now I'm like, I got to have a picture of this guy, because that's the only way anyone's going to believe that this story is real. No one's going to believe the story is real. So I'm trying to figure out ways to take pictures of RFK, and I'm doing all these just absolutely creepy things. I'm like, I go to the bathroom, and I'm like standing over by the bathroom. I'm trying to like snap like secret pictures of him. Every picture I take of this guy looks like he's just some old man on the plane. Could be fucking anybody. Oh, sorry. I dropped it. Could have been anybody. Could have been anybody, right?
Edit that one out.
I know. We need a bleep button, Andy. You got to get working on that. So anyway, a little too late, but okay. For next time. Okay, I've given up. I'm never going to get a picture of this guy. So then RFK gets up and he goes to the bathroom. And as he's walking to the bathroom, I realize the guy has no shoes on and no socks. And the floor is covered with food, and like disgusting food. And he's walking to the restroom with no shoes and no socks on. He goes into the restroom sockless and shoeless, something I've literally never seen in my entire life. Out of all the times I've been on planes, never seen this happen before. I thought, okay, I know, like absolutely disgusting, right? And I'm thinking, like, this guy's a presidential candidate. He doesn't wear shoes and socks in a plane in first class. Like, what is this? So then I'm like, I got to get a picture of this, right? So as he's coming out of the bathroom on the way, I snap a picture of RFK Jr. Can we pull up the picture? To prove that this psychopath really does walk on the plane. There he is. Look, you can see the disgusting food on the floor. You can see him, no socks, no shoes. Like, this guy just totally just crapping on everybody in first class. I couldn't.
Yeah, a mountain out of a molehill. Now, one of those bigger fish that we have to fry is the state of our nation's economy. In a move that's far more consequential than any in-flight footwear choices, Moody's has downgraded the U.S. credit outlook to negative. This is a significant development, one that speaks volumes about the economic challenges we face as a nation. It's a red flag signaling economic weaknesses, spiraling deficits, and rising financing costs. And this is where our focus should be, not on a man's choice to go shoeless on a plane. In fact, Kennedy himself seems to understand the gravity of the situation. Rather than getting entangled in the barefoot brouhaha, he turned his attention to the Moody's downgrade. He took to social media, highlighting the dire state of our economy, pointing out the erosion of faith in the credit of the United States. His stance on this issue shows a prioritization of what really matters, the financial well-being of our nation. But let's delve a little bit deeper into the political landscape. Over on News Nation, pundits discuss why the media seems to be sidelining RFK and their argument RFK's independent candidacy and disruptive potential. They compared the current political climate to the fertile ground of Ross Perot's 1992 campaign, suggesting that RFK, along with other independent candidates, could significantly impact the upcoming elections. They posited that this shift could disrupt traditional voting patterns, potentially influencing the results in unforeseen ways. Let's take a look at that discussion.
This whole thing with the independent candidates, RFK Jr., the media can ignore him, but as I said earlier, most of the population does not want either of the two major party candidates. This ground is so fertile. This is better than 1992 and Ross Perot. And so that you got between RFK Jr., Cornel West will draw from the left. And if no labels, puts together a fusion ticket, there is going to be a massive amount of people not voting for the two.
But I think that they're going to take away all from the Biden side.
Yes.
I don't.
Except for RFK.
If Biden is focused on turnout, as he should be as a Democrat, that's the concern. Because if you're focused on turnout and if you're focused on people of color, if you're focused on young people, those folks are going to. It's hard to measure that. This is unprecedented. Yeah, it's fertile ground if you want to disrupt an election. Let's be very clear. The reason why
they want a choice. They want to vote for somebody who's not too far right or not too far
fair enough,
left.
but democracy is on the line here, and the only one who wins in this situation is Donald Trump. So the reason why the newsrooms are ignoring RFK, other than the fact that he's a terrorist, an anti-Semite, let's go on and on, is that he is a disruption to democracy, and things are too unstable right now.
To the status quo, which is the reason why we're here now.
Okay, so you think RFK
is better than any of the status quo people without question?
We're 1 year away. You think RFK can build a massive operation to beat both the Democrat and the Republican Party, who have organization all over the country.
The fact that you say that is the problem.
But there's a reality of politics.
The reality of it is, if they don't get 270. Then it goes to the Congress, and there's a chance anybody could win if it goes to the Congress. The point is getting enough electoral votes to when neither side gets 270. That's how any independent could win.
You sound like you're going to storm the Capitol right now.
But the point.
I'm going to storm the Capitol like that.
But that was their strategy. I mean, these are disruptive strategies.
Now, the media's disregard for RFK, aside from his views, is seen as a means to maintain the status quo, which many believe is already unstable. The pundits on News Nation argue that RFK's candidacy, much like other independents, poses a threat to the established order, a situation that could benefit figures like Donald Trump. Now back to the Moody's downgrade. This isn't just a piece of financial news, it's a symptom of deeper issues plaguing our nation. The downgrade reflects not only the current economic woes, but also the erosion of confidence in our country's ability to maintain and manage its finances. It's a warning sign we cannot afford to ignore. When a respected institution like Moody's expresses concern over the U.S. economic health, it's a call to action. And Kennedy's reaction to the downgrade, focusing on excessive military spending and neglect of America's infrastructure and domestic economy, aligns with a broader concern about priorities in Washington. It raises important questions about whether our resources are being allocated and whether those choices align with the nation's long-term interests. The situation brings us to a crucial point in our nation's history. We're at a crossroads, facing significant economic and political challenges, and our responses to these challenges will define the future of our republic. The Moody's downgrade, a reflection of our economic struggles, and the emergence of independent candidates like RFK Jr. who are willing to challenge the status quo, are indicative of a changing landscape. As a republic, we must confront these challenges head-on. We need to scrutinize our economic policies, assess our political directions, and ensure that our actions align with the best interests of the American people. The health of our economy and the integrity of our political process is at stake. In closing, let me emphasize this. This real story here isn't about a man walking barefoot on a plane. It's about the state of our nation. It's about understanding the economic signals and political undercurrents that shape our society. As we navigate through these tumultuous times, let's focus on what truly matters: the economic stability and political integrity of our republic. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe and join us in this journey of informed engagement, for it is through this that we can guide our nation towards a future of prosperity and integrity. So in tonight's report, we've tackled two seemingly desperate stories: RFK Jr.'s airplane behavior and the Moody's downgrade of the U.S. credit outlook. But at their core, these stories are about priorities and perception. Walking barefoot on a plane, while unconventional, is ultimately a personal choice, one that's been blown out of proportion. What's truly alarming and deserving of our undivided attention is the sobering reality of the Moody's downgrade. This economic red flag is a stark reminder of the challenges that our republic faces. It's a call to reevaluate our national priorities, to focus on strengthening our economy and ensuring the financial security of future generations. As we navigate these uncertain times, let's remember the importance of informed discourse and critical analysis. Our nation's well-being depends on it. So let's not get sidetracked by the trivial. Instead, let's focus on the issues that truly matter for the stability and prosperity of our republic. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.